Hey, it's Jeremy here, and today I want to be showing you 10 tips and tricks that I use for Illustrator CC 2017. The first up, we're going to show you how to do some global colors. So what I'll do is press L for the ellipse tool to get up a circle, and I'll just duplicate that a few times. And I'm just going to select the object and press I for the eyedropper tool and sample some colors. So I'm just selecting each circle and then just sampling one color from the image that I have here. And what I can do now is select all of these circles, so click and drag, and then what I can do is click this folder in my swatches panel, so I can click that and you'll get these options up. So what I can do, instead of clicking the first one, I'm going to select the second option, and you want to make sure that convert process to global is ticked. So press OK, and you can see now I have these 4 new global colors. You can tell that's a global color when it has a white tab on the right hand corner of it. That means if I have multiple objects, which I'll just make, say I have multiple objects in my illustration or my artwork, if they're with all the same color, if I double click on this global color now, it allows me to edit that color. But make sure you have preview ticked on so you can see what's happening. And I can actually edit all those colors, and it's going to affect everything with that same color. So I press OK. You want to make sure that they have this same color selected. So I'm going to double click again and we'll do it again. So you can see now, because all these have the same global color, I can edit the global color by double clicking on it, and it's going to affect every single object with that same color. And I can just press OK. So that's the good use about global colors. The second tool that is great to use is the width tool. So you can see here I've got 2 strokes. So what I can do is select a stroke or a path that you have, and you can press Shift W. It's also on the left hand side, and it looks like a little curvy thing there, and it's called the width tool. What I can actually do is actually change the width of my lines. So you can see there, you can create dynamic, abstract lines and even shapes that you can edit later on. So you can see that. You can also taper off the ends. So maybe I want to taper off the ends. So you can see that. And you can also hold Option or Alt to just do it on one side if you want to create some weird shapes, just like that. So if you're doing line work or characters, this is going to be really handy to get that nice dimension and nice width and variation with your lines. Another cool tool is using the rotation tool, especially if you're using icons or logos or that type of thing. This is the best way and quickest way to do it. So what I'll do, I got this like little leaf here. You can see it's just a simple stroke. I'm going to create a circle in the center here. So you can see my smart guides are on. To turn those on, you go to View, Smart Guides, and that will help us make a circle within the center of this. So we're just going to make a circle here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to select my object, press R for the rotation tool. You can also see it's like a dotted arrow there on the left hand side. And I'm going to find the center of this circle and press Alt or Option if you're on a Mac. And I'm going to click once, and your box is going to pop up. And then what we're going to do now, make sure your preview is on. So you can see my preview is on. Pick a number that will ends up being up to 360, because 360 is a round resolution. So 30 is a good number. I'm going to press copy. And then what we're going to do now is press Command D or Control D, and that's going to duplicate it all. Just like that. So now we know all this is even. I can delete that circle, and now we have this cool pattern or reef that we just made it just by using the simple rotate tool. Another cool thing about Illustrator CC is that you can do live rounded corners. So you can see I've got this nice badge shape here with some pointy corners, but I want to make it a little bit more softer. So what I can do is select the shape with the selection tool, which is the black one. The shortcut key is that V for that. And what I'm going to do is, once you have it selected, press A for the direct selection tool, which is the white mouse. As you can see, all these white little circles or orbs happen around every corner or every point. And what I can do now is if I hold left click and drag, it's going to round every corner on that shape. So you can see that I rounded it off, and now it's gone softer. And I can round it back up to make it pointy, as you can see there, if I want it really pointy, or I can round it all the way down and it's going to make a full circle, as you can see there. So that's using live rounded corners, and it really helps and saves time instead of going into each point and going into the options and effects. Another cool thing as well is using the Blob Brush tool. A lot of illustrators use this, especially when you're doing character design or doing some abstract illustrations. This is going to help you out. So if you have line work on top, or paths or strokes that you don't want to touch and you want to do your coloring on a separate layer, the Blob Brush tool is the best way to do it. So what you can do is press Shift B. It's also located on the left here, on the top, and you can see it looks like a paintbrush and a shape. And what we can do now is, if you can see my mouse is there, if you press the right square bracket and left square bracket, it's gonna up the size. So as you can see there, right square bracket does make it larger, and left square bracket makes it smaller, similar to Photoshop. And what I can do now is I'm gonna go on my bottom layer. So I'm gonna make a new layer, lock this top layer, go on a bottom layer, and I can actually start coloring in my little character guy here. So I'm gonna select the brown color, and you can see that it's going under my line work because I put it on a lower layer. So this is a fast way to color in your objects if you want to keep your coloring in separate to all your line work, especially if that's your style or you're doing like a comic style or something like that. So you can see quickly we've actually just colored in our eyebrows and mustache very simply. And the cool thing is with the brush is that you can make it smaller and bigger, so you can adjust it and color in and get your flat colors in very simply. And you can see now it's just a one shape, which we can end up selecting it and actually manipulate it and change the colors as we want, which is super handy when we're doing this type of design. Another cool thing is using the selection tools that allows you to select multiple objects at once. So what we're going to do, I got these 4 icons here, and you can see how they've got similar colors. I'm just going to unlock this layer. You can see the strokes are brown, and then we've got this light browning color. Maybe I just want to select all the strokes, but without selecting the whole object. What you can do is you left click on the one object you want to select. We're going to go to select up the top left hand corner, and we're going to go down to same. And what you can do now, you have all these options. So if you want to select multiple objects within your artwork that has a similar thing, as in the blending mode, appearance, fill color, even opacity, then you can do that. Because you want to select all the strokes on the icons, we're going to select stroke color. So I'm going to select that, and now you can see automatically it has selected all that same color on those strokes. So you can see now I can drag it away, and I've got all those strokes now. So it's super handy when you want to select multiple things. I'll test it out with the fill color now. So we go select, same, and I'll do fill color this time. So now it will select all the icons with that same fill color. So it saves you time, and it helps you, not be tedious and try and pick every object with your mouse. It does the work for you. Using manipulation with type and shapes can be annoying, and it can especially distort the type and not keep it live. Sometimes it can actually destroy it, and what we want to do is keep it live so that we can edit it. So you can see here I've got this type and this little ribbon here that I want to use. I'm going to select all of it and go to Object, Envelope Distort, and Make with Warp. I love using this tool because it's got heaps of options. If you select this drop down menu, you'll get arc, bulge, fish, and you can see there it's manipulating it and actually distorting it as you want. So I'm just going to use the normal arc one, and you can see if I drag this bend, it's going to go more or less. I'm just going to do it subtle because I don't want it too crazy, and I'm going to leave it on horizontal. You can also click vertical to do it that way too, but horizontal is pretty cool. And I'm going to press OK. The good thing about this is we can actually edit the type now. So if I go on the top left corner, you can see the warp is on the shape, but we want to go to the second one, which is the type. So now I can actually go in here, select the type, and change it. So as you can see there, we've edited the type and it's actually live. So that's the cool thing about it. And we can even edit the shapes there as well. So the cool thing is that it keeps it live, and you can also go to Object, Envelope Distort, and release it. So you can release it and it'll take you out. But the type is untouched, and you can still edit it and use it. I love working with pattern brushes. It saves you time as well as it keeps everything clean and neat. So you can see here what I've got is 4 circles. So what I did is I just made one circle with the ellipse tool. Then I made another one which was a bit smaller. And then I selected these 2 and copied it across. And you can see that it's make sure that these spaces are even. I'll just move that out of the way. You can see that that space is even now. What I'm going to do, select it all, and I'll just group it. And what I want to do is go to my brush panel. You can go to Window and Brushes, and I'm going to drag this in. You can see I've already got my pattern brush there, and select pattern brush. What we're going to do, instead of stretch to fit, we're going to change the options here. Go to add space to fit. We can leave it on fixed, and we can leave these options as it is, and we can go to hue shift if we want to change the color. So I'm just going to press OK, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just make a stroke, a straight stroke, and I'm going to select the pattern brush we just made, and you can see that it's there. And what I can do now is make the stroke less. So I'm going to go to 0.5 points, and you can see there the stroke is made it awesome, and I can make it longer, and it's going to extend those shapes to keep that nice pattern. So if you're making a shape or you're making a logo or whatever, you can actually use this, and it's going to really help you out. You can make sure the sizes are right, and you can do that and add it to any shape, which is pretty sweet. When I'm making the type, I love using the offset path tool. You can see here I've created outlines, and they're just shapes. It was a typeface Futura, and I just made it into a shape. And what I can do with this is go Object, Path, Offset Path. Once you do that, you can actually click Preview, and you can see what it's going to do. So an offset allows you to select an object, and it's going to make an offset path, whether it's positive or negative. So you can go further out or further in. So you can see that the cool thing is you got some options. So if you want it to be round, you select round. It's going to round off the corners. If not, it will go bevel, which will make it more blocky, and Milta will make it just straight. I prefer to make it like round for now, and you can hold shift and just drag this, and it'll make it bigger and smaller really fast. We'll go up by 10s. So I kind of like that shape like that, and I'm going to press OK. I'm going to change the color as well and bring it to the back. As you can see there, now we've got this cool shape here as well. And what I'll usually do is go and select all this black shape, go to my Pathfinder tool, and just unite that. So now that's just one shape there. So you can see there, we've got this cool little shape, cool little logo. We can select the type as well and change the color there. Tip number 10 is using export for screens. So Illustrator did this cool update, and it makes it a lot easier. So what we got, I got these 4 artboards here. I can go to File, Export, and Export for Screens. Instead of going to Save for Web and saving each one by one, this is the fastest way. So what I can do, you get the ability to select all your artboards. So I don't want this main artboard, but I just want these 4 circles here. And you can select the range, you can select all, as well as do that. You can clear selection, which will unselect every object as well. So I'm just going to select the 4 ones that I want. I can select the folder I want it to save to if I want that. And what you can do is add scale. So 1 times scale means it's going to just be whatever the artboard size is. I can add another scale. So if it's 2 times, maybe my artboard is 1000 by 1000. That means it's going to be 2000 by 2000. You can also change that by the drop down menu and put it by times 3, times 4, half, quarter, or do it by height, width, or resolution. You can also add more scales as well. So you can add heaps. You can also delete them as well. You can also change the file. PNG, if you want it transparent, then do PNG, PNG8. If you just want a standard JPEG, you can do it as JPEG. You can see 100, 80, 50. That means the quality. So 100 is high, 50 to 20 is low. Then you got PDF and SVG. So you can add all these different files as well, and it's going to save all those versions in that one folder you set it to. So once you do that, you can just go export to artboard, and what it's going to do is going to save it into a folder and leave it like that. It's that simple. So I'll quickly do that. I'll just make a new folder. Export, boom, select folder, export to artboard. And you can see it will just export all that in one go. Saves you time, and there you go. We've got the PDFs or the images just like that. So those are my 10 tips for Illustrator 2017. Hope that was helpful. Don't forget to leave a comment below and subscribe to the channel for more design content every week.